If you're anything like me, you consistently find yourself googling the best online co-op games on whatever platform you're looking for. I honestly couldn't tell you the amount of times I've scrolled on every single gaming website, reading the lists and watching videos to try find fun online co-op games. The main issue here is that all the lists are the same. You're going to get Diablo 3, Borderlands, Apex Legends, World War Z, even the more obscure titles, if you can call them that, like Sniper Elite or Gunfire Reborn. Now, I haven't been looking at these lists much in the past while, but there's one game that I never really saw people talk about, and that game is Remnant from the Ashes. A fun little co-op third-person shooter, Souls-like, but it also feels like an action RPG. I know of some YouTubers who have reviewed this game to generally positive reviews, but I wasn't expecting how much fun of a co-op experience that it would be. It's currently on sale for €20 on PSN, so at that price it's an absolute steal. So let's start off with the general gameplay. It's set up a lot like Dark Souls. You can dodge roll, have an estus flask, and enemies can kill you very, very quickly. The largest difference I've found was how the areas were laid out though. Where Dark Souls areas are pretty interconnected, well built and designed levels, Remnant's levels are built more like an action RPG like Torchlight. They're more just a means to get from one place to the other, with random chests and enemies throughout. There's a good variety of levels, and while one level looks different from the other, the rooms and areas within a level all look pretty samey and can be a bit boring as you go along. Now don't be expecting something on the same level as Dark Souls, because Remnant is a budget title, and they had to cut back in some areas, and I feel the levels are where they cut back probably the most. Combat here is a third-person shooter, which I was interested in because I haven't played a Souls-like third-person shooter before. Inherently, the normal gameplay is easier than other melee combat Souls-like, based solely on the fact that you can keep your distance from enemies. It still has the you can die in a few hits if you're not careful flow, but once you keep your wits about you, it's not too difficult running through the areas. I've also played the game fully in co-op, which will help a lot with the difficulty. The variety in enemies took me by surprise actually. Each area has its own set of enemies, and while some outstayed are welcome, they feel quite different from area to area. My favourite part of the game are the weapons. I love how many there were and how you can change your playstyle with a change of a weapon. I started with a 2-shot rifle and a repeater pistol, but quickly I had so many weapons that I didn't know what to use, until I landed on a crossbow. I built my character to have quick reload speed and also have armour that increased my damage with the first shot after I reloaded a mag, meaning I was dealing an insane amount of damage, but I did have to be accurate. And let me tell you, when you miss your shot with the crossbow when there's a big group of enemies running at you, it's feckin' scary because you die really quickly. Now these weapons I mentioned aren't anything too special. They're the boring run-of-the-mill shotguns, pistols, crossbows, rifles, you name it. But, just like the Souls-like games, when you kill a boss they drop an item that can be used to craft unique weapons. And these weapons do not disappoint. My two favourite here are the Spitfire and the Rune. The Spitfire is a flamethrower SMG that absolutely tears your enemies a new arsehole. It's easily my most used weapon in the game. The alternate fired gun is a massive flamethrower, so it's so useful against basically every single enemy. The next weapon is the Rune. You have a scope on the weapon, but honestly being zoomed in and not being able to see your surroundings is awful for my survival. But the weapon is just really powerful, so I loved it. There are other unique weapons that I absolutely love using, but I'll leave them to the people who want to play the game. Now the bosses are hit or miss. Some of them aren't too challenging, and the fight is who can deal more damage in a short amount of time, or just tests of how long you can dodge projectiles and do chip damage. These types of bosses didn't inspire anything in me really, but when the bosses hit, they feckin' hit. There's two in particular that I absolutely loved and had an amazing time figuring out the strategy for. The first is this fecker. I don't know his name and I didn't Google it. But all I know is that he shot crystals from left, right, centre, up, forward, and the whole boss was just dodging these crystals and getting damage in when you could. He kept killing us, and eventually we realised that we just had to really communicate. And eventually we were just screaming down the mic, left, then dodging, and then swipe attack, and then dodging again, and rolling through it, and it just went on, and it was genuinely amazing. We were in deep focus, only thinking about the projectiles and when to dodge. It really brought out the communication, and realistically, that is when co-op games are at their best. The second boss are these mock bastards, and yes, there's feckin' two of them. You fight them on this infuriatingly narrow bridge, getting attacked from either side, and once again it brought the teamwork out in us. After dying so much, I couldn't even tell you how many times we died, we decided to change our loadouts. We used this force field mod to block incoming orbs and to heal aura so we could stay topped up. There was one attack in particular where both the moths charged up to unleash a big scream and you had to shoot them in the head to stop them charging. At the start of the boss, we decided who's going to shoot who, so we both knew who was shooting which one, and it felt so cool when we pulled it off. Both of these bosses were pains in the hole, because they force us to really focus. But the feeling of beating them was unreal, and that's where Souls-like shines. Look, I know I've been blabbering on about this game, but it isn't perfect. It feels slightly generic, with nothing about the visual presentation or enemy designs really standing out. But as a co-op experience of play with your friends, it really excels. The problem with Dark Souls is, they are really fun to play co-op, but connecting through co-op and doing a full playthrough through co-op is the biggest pain in the arse you'll ever do. So games built from the ground up with co-op in mind are few and far between, and fun ones are even less so. I'm just glad I gave this game a go, and would recommend anyone looking for a fun but tough co-op game to give it a shot. I would love to know what you think of Remnant from the Ashes. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join the Discord below, and I'll see you all on the next video.